Hey guys, welcome back. So today we got 2018 Kona 1.6 turbo. As you can see there, check engine light, that's the customer complaint. As for the history, they replaced oxygen sensor at the rear, so the sensor 2, and catalytic converter. I don't know why, maybe it's the same issue or unrelated. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna scan for codes. Let's see what we have. Okay, so we have heater control circuit, bank 1 sensor 1 active. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna check the circuit, right? I think, yeah, we're gonna inspect, especially they just replaced the catalytic converter. Let's do some visual inspection. Let's check our wiring diagram, and that should be a pretty straightforward checking the circuit, right? Okay, so here's our engine. Okay, the dipstick is not in all the way. This is good access. Our bank 1 sensor 1 there, upstream sensor is there. Our connector is accessible, right? So I got this wiring diagram here. So these guys are concerned. So on pin 4, that's brown, we should have 12 volts there, right? And number 5, that's black, that's our heater control from the ECM. So we're gonna check our voltages there and see what we have. Okay, here's my graphing meter. We're just gonna use this, and if we need to use our picoscope, we'll use it, but let's just do a quick check. So ground cable, we're gonna put in a ground as much as possible on the negative cable or the battery, right? So the yellow one, I'm gonna go first on the 12 volt or the power supply going to the sensor. So that's gonna be brown. So I'm thinking it's gonna be here. That's number 5, 4 and 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so I think this guy here. I'm just gonna back probe that, right? So we should see their ignition on 12 volts. So I'm gonna go in there. As you can see there, it's reading 12.2 volts. Now on the green one, I'm gonna put this on the ground control. So right now we're having 3.5 volts. So we're gonna check, I'm gonna do an engine running, right? And we'll see if we have a ground control from the PCM. And we should see, because right now it's showing 3.5. What I'm thinking right now is in here, let me get out a little bit. So we should have 12 volts there and coming out 12 volts too, right? But we got, right now we got 3.5, so I don't think that's right. That should be 12 volts until we're gonna do an engine start or engine running. That's the time we can see a ground control from the PCM. It's pulling it to the ground from 12 volts to 0. So I'm gonna start the vehicle and let's see what's the reading here. right now. I'm reading there. Let me change the time base. Okay, so the lowest settings for the time here is 2 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just gonna double check a wiring diagram, but make sure that I'm on the right wire for the heater control. So 1 is black, 2 is blue, 3 is gray, then 4 is brown, 5. Okay, so number 4 has, the ground control was reading at ignition on is 3 volts, right? That should not be like that. That should be 12 volts. And during engine running, we see that there's a ground control there, but that should be 12 volts, 12 to 0 volts. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna check the resistance value on the oxygen sensor. Maybe it's too high, right? There's more resistance. Less of voltage, right? So let me shut off the vehicle. I'm gonna use this guy because the other one, the battery is dead. So check your meter, connect both leads, make sure it's working, right? 0 ohms is what we expect. Now I'm just gonna connect those 2 pins. Power reading. I need to touch it properly. It's reading something. So I think we're dealing an open circuit on the heater side of the sensor. As you can see there, it's reading OL. Just make sure. Yeah. So we got an OL on our sensor. So I guess this guy just needs a sensor. Alright guys, so just a recap. We check our voltage here. We did a visual inspection first since they did something under there and we didn't find anything. So next was we check our voltage here. That's from our sensor and we should expect 12 battery voltage, right? Or a running voltage. Next is ignition on this side here. We should still see battery voltage, right? Or ignition on voltage 12 volts, right? But we didn't see that. We saw 3 volts, right? And then we started the car. We saw that there was a control. My graphing meter there, it's too much time based, so we cannot see itself the square wave, right? But we see that it pulled to the ground, to the 0. But it should be 12 volts from 0 because the heater control from the PCM is to pull it down to the ground. But we didn't see that. Next we unplug it and we check the resistance value on the heater circuit on the sensor side, and we saw the open circuit. So I guess, I don't know, it was coincidence that they replaced the sensor 2 or the downstream oxygen sensor and catalytic converter. Now it failed this. I don't know, I cannot explain that, but for that circuit code that we have, we know that this guy here is open, right? So we're just gonna wait for the sensor and I think that's warranty, right? Yeah, 18, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 18, 19, 20, 1, 20. So almost there. So I guess that's warranty. It depends. Yeah, so we'll wait for the sensor and I'll update you guys. Hey guys, welcome back. So 2 weeks after, or 3 weeks, our part came in for our oxygen sensor for our fault on the Kona, and we're gonna be replacing this. And before we replace this, we'll make sure that our heater circuit on the sensor, and we can compare it to our old one there. So on these models, it's pretty accessible. Just have to remove the cover, and it's just right there. So we don't have to lift up the car. So now we're gonna use our new one. So that's why we should expect 2 point something ohms. Let me put that in here so that you guys can see it. Oh, no, you cannot see that. Oh, that one, okay. So that should be at least a good reading for the heater if we're checking the resistance, right? So now, I'm just gonna replace this guy. So I can see here, I'm just gonna remove that, and we're gonna use a socket, oxygen sensor socket. Okay. So now let's go back inside the car. Let's monitor it, and we should expect that our code will go to history since the computer now sees that there's a circuit integrity there for our heater circuit for our oxygen sensor. Okay, let's just scan again. DTC. Okay, so as you can see there, from active went to history because the computer senses that power, right, from our fuse going to that heater and just doing its own thing. So he knows that there's an integrity there. So let's just clear this. Okay, and then we're gonna go to our data. And let's monitor our oxygen sensor. So let me start the car. So we go to our oxygen sensor. We got lambda here, upstream, downstream. Upstream, downstream. think that's it. Okay, let's go graph it. As you can see on my right side here, all our heater control is turning on. As per the computer, it turns it on, right, to warm it up faster. So let me do a couple of throttle. That's good. So see that we have changes in our upstream. Okay, so that's it, guys. I'm happy that we fixed the problem. I'm happy with the result. I hope you enjoyed that video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Thank you for watching.